Have you traveled this summer? What was it like? I've been watching pictures of piles of luggage in airports, and it has really scared me as to traveling this summer. The other thing is all the flight delays and people stranded. Oh, I had a trip scheduled. Let me tell you how it went. Hi, I'm Sandy from Sandy Over 70. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and help me grow it. And also click the little notification bell. We've had a trip planned for quite a while. It was an escorted bus tour starting and ending in Buffalo, New York, and going up into Eastern Canada to Ottawa, Toronto, the Thousand Islands, and Niagara Falls. And I've been looking forward to it for such a long time. But I was really nervous about the travel situation in 2022. I prepared my packing list as I always do before traveling, but this time I decided that we would put an entire change of clothing into each other's suitcases in case the suitcases were lost. And that's what we did. So that gave me a little sense of security. The other thing is that we were flying from a small airport and connecting in Charlotte. So there was the possibility of the bags getting lost, but at least it wasn't Atlanta or New York. We recently got our TSA PreCheck numbers, and let me tell you how that came about. As far as I knew, you had to do it at an airport, and our small airport did it maybe once a year, and I missed that appointment. So I thought I was doomed to stand in long lines. However, one of my viewers pointed out to me that there might be other places besides airports where we could get our TSA PreCheck number. So I did a Google search, and immediately up came Staples Office Supply. And I want you to know about this because it's so great, and I think it's relatively new. But I went online and I made an appointment, it was on a Saturday even, for us to get our TSA PreCheck number. When we went up there, it took about 45 minutes. They have a special area set up in the Staples office supply store. They have, I think, 2 employees back there, and they were processing each of us. It took about probably a good 45 minutes, maybe to an hour for both of us to get processed because they have to ask you a lot of questions. They take your photo and they fingerprint you. Now, I had filled out most of it online beforehand, so I think that shortened it up a bit. And you do need to bring your passports, and it costs $85 for 5 years. And I thought, I wonder if I'm going to get the number prior to the trip to Canada. I really hoped so. It came within 5 days in my email. I quickly notified my travel agent, and I put it into the airline web pages of the airlines that I fly, so it would be in there. And I wanted to make sure it appeared on my boarding pass because I know the difference between a regular line and the TSA PreCheck line. So here's what happened. We went to the Asheville airport, which is a very small airport. There was no one in the TSA PreCheck line, but there were only 2 people in the regular line. Now, granted, this was 7 o'clock in the morning or maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, but I was going to go through that TSA PreCheck line since I had that number now. So we went into the line, and it was so funny because The agent had us switch back and forth between the regular line and the TSA pre-check line. There were only 3 of us, so it really didn't matter, but I was so happy. Now, the other thing that it does for you is you don't have to take your shoes off. You don't have to take your jackets off. And if you have your liquids in a little plastic bag, you don't have to pull them out. So all of those things are really nice, and I think it's a great way to spend $85 if you travel at all. 10 days later, we were returning through the Buffalo, New York airport, and I got in this really long line. You know how they go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And there looked to be hundreds of people in line, and I couldn't find the sign for the TSA PreCheck. I just found some other sign, and I thought, this can't be right. So I got out of line and I searched around, and there it was, of course, big as life, TSA PreCheck line. And I said, come on, let's get in it. And we got in it, and I think there might have been maybe 10 people ahead of us. It was great. We went right through. And I mean, we were there 2-3 hours early, so it didn't really matter, but it's just not fun waiting with hundreds of people in these lines. And it's not really safe either, because you're all jammed together. And we were doing our very best to maintain as much distance as possible, because no one was wearing masks in the airport since it became optional. My husband and I have not had COVID yet, and we don't want to get it. So we wore our masks in the Asheville airport and on the plane to Buffalo. And since it was a 30-minute trip, the first leg, and I think it was 2 hours for the second leg, it wasn't all that awful. I will say that there were very few people with masks on. And coming back, I don't think we wore the mask in the airport. And I put it on the plane, but I started having trouble breathing, so I did take it off on the plane. And let's see, it's been 5 days, and so far we haven't shown any symptoms of being sick, so fingers crossed. When we got to Buffalo, we waited for our bags to arrive on the conveyor belt, and of course they were like the last ones out, so I was a little nervous, but I kept thinking, no, it's going to be all right. And it was. We got both of our bags. Now, I will say that there was a half-hour delay out of Asheville, and we only had a 55-minute layover in Charlotte to get our next connection. And let me tell you, if you've ever been to the Charlotte airport, it is very strange. You have to walk really far to get your connections. There's no trains or little trolleys or anything to move you quickly, because there is a difference in levels between various parts of the airport. And at one point, you have to take a very long escalator upwards to the next level. So when we were late, leaving 30 minutes, and I had 55 minutes in Charlotte, I thought, we're going to miss that plane, but what are you going to do? Well, guess what? We didn't miss the plane. We walked very fast, and we got there just as before they started boarding. They started right after we got there, so that was great. So no mishaps going, and the luggage arrived safely. And I will say, coming back, all of the departures were on time, and we got our bags back in Asheville. It was perfect. So I did not have a bad experience traveling the summer of 2022. Thank goodness, because it will really put a damper on your travel. Have you traveled this summer? What was your experience? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. It's free, and you will help me grow my channel. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Take care. Have a wonderful day.